Welcome guys, I'm Rob and welcome to the MINI Aceman SE. Let's go, let's fire it up. Fully electric, of course, because that's the new trend at MINI. Everything is fully electric, or almost. We still have the John Cooper range, but besides that, every car at MINI is electric, going from the Cooper, the Countryman, to the latest one, the Aceman. And yes, the Clubman got killed for this one, unfortunately. I still don't understand why, because the Clubman was such an iconic car, already present in the early years of MINI with the classic ones, the really old ones. Yeah, they turned it back alive somewhere in 2007-8, I don't know, with the first gen, with the two doors and just the longer chassis. And then yes, is it last year? I think it's not that long ago. They removed it from the model range to give birth to the MINI Aceman, which sits somewhere, in between the Cooper and the Countryman. Cooper, of course, is very, very small, available in 3 and 5 doors. This one sits a bit higher, but not as high as the Countryman. So there is a bit the difference between these different models. Look-wise, it's also a bit different. But yeah, in general, I've been driving this car for a few days now to get to know it. Of course, not the first time I'm driving a MINI, because we used to have one. That was a pretty cool one. We used to have a quick side story. We used to have the 1.6 John Cooper Works. That was kind of a cool car. You drove 100 kilometers per hour in second. That was crazy. But this is the way MINI is going now. It's still funky, that's nice. MINI is still a funky brand. They got these cool colors, they got funky configurations, different kind of wheels, so that's really good. You got, you still get that MINI feeling, which is great. It's just that it's not as sporty anymore, I'd say, but it's more around the entire image you can give and personalizations that you can do with the car. So that's really nice. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So about the Aceman, MINI also updated their complete model range. I'm not just talking about the models now with this Aceman, but just in general, the way they set up how you configure a car is completely different. So you start with your model. So let's take this one, Aceman. And then you have different versions in that. So you have, for now, you have an Aceman E. Then you have, which that's different in power, and in this one too, in battery size. So for example, the Aceman E is 184 horsepower with a smaller battery. I think it's just below 40 kilowatt. And then we have the SE, which I'm driving right now. And then we have the John Cooper Works. And this one has 218 horsepower, and the John Cooper Works has 258 horsepower. In Newton meters, it doesn't change that much, which is fine. It's still fast enough. You know, it's a difference between 8 seconds or 6 seconds from 0 to 100. So it's fast enough for your daily commute, no doubt about it. There's a difference in total range. So the E with the smallest battery is about 300 kilometer range. Then this one, the Aceman SE, is about 380, 390 kilometer range. And the John Cooper Works, of course, it has a little more horsepower, but same battery size as this one, which is 49 and a bit. So range is a bit less compared to this one. So it's 350, something like that. Again, for this kind of size of car, it's plenty, it's more than enough. This is not the kind of car you would take on a trip to the south of Spain. So let's not get annoyed about that. It's the perfect car for your daily commute. So plus 300 is more than enough, it's plenty. So I'm not worried about that. But then it's getting a little tricky, difficult, in my opinion, because you have different kind of trims. For example, I'm gonna name them. You have Essential, you have a Classic trim, you have the Favored trim, which is this one, and then you have the John Cooper Works trim. So you know, it's a bit weird, to be honest, not easy, and definitely I don't think it's easy for the customer, because the issue is that there's a lot of stuff that's linked to that specific trim. So for example, if you want this beautiful dark petrol interior, just kind of bluish, honestly, it looks really cool. It's only available on this trim. And if you want, but this trim also has very specific golden look, matte golden look finish on the outside. So if you don't like that, well, that's a bummer for you. You can't change that. So it's not easy to really find your taste, because people love the fact that you can just personalize the car more and more and more. But now you're limited to certain packages, which is really complicated, and it includes outside finishes, just like as I was saying, the golden accents, which are then gold, silver or black. It's combined with exterior colors, with wheels, with interior colors, but the interior colors are also associated with the entire extra tissue inside, which looks really nice, of course, but you gotta keep it in mind that it's not very easy for the customer to find a way in all these things. Pretty sure salespeople do their job really fine, but yeah, you're somehow still limited to options, which is not ideal, I think, because in Mini you really want to personalize it to the max. Although I do love this spec, the Sunset Indigo Sunset Blue, I think it's called, really works well with the golden accents on the outside, so that's really, really cool. It also matches with this blue interior. And then the really funky stuff is that we have this multi-tone colored roof, which goes from white to blue. It's really cool. I'm not sure if I would have the guts to order that myself, but it looks funky. So that's the part on the Mini side where you still can get those really cool features. And yeah, same with the entire dashboard. That looks really wonderful. The bluish leather with the orange accents, it looks superb. So on that side, really, I love it. A typical feature on these new Minis too, they get this. Let's not do that. You get this wonderful OLED screen. It looks wonderful. It's really pretty. Quality of it is really nice. It's just not very easy to find your way in it, because there's just so much. If you tap on it, you have so many things that you can go through. Luckily, there's like a recently used one where you can just put things in that you've used recently. But besides it, it's really a really solid working tool, but it's quite hard to find your way through it. So of course it might take some time to get used to it, I'm pretty sure, but after even 4 or 5 days I'm still like struggling, like where am I gonna find this? It's not that easy. So it's a thing to keep in mind. A thing that bothers me, like really bothers me, is the fact that here is no screen at all. So somehow some brands are like, let's put more screens inside of the cars. Mini isn't doing that, but here is kind of an important screen that I'm missing. It's tucked away in a head-up display, but these kind of head-up displays with the little screen, not really the biggest fan of it, but because I'd rather have just a screen here rather than up there, because it's not projected on the windscreen itself, so that's quite annoying. And I like a few driving information things. There I just get the speed with the power and the battery, so it's quite limited. I'd rather have a screen right here. I remember in the Mini we used to have, this was a car from 2007-8 I think, you also had the big display here with the rev counter, with the speedometer and stuff, which was already quite complicated, but you still had the rev counter with basic information right in front of you, and that was a big thing. So that's really something that I'm missing with this one. They should have done it, just a simple clean screen, just remove the head-up display, of course keep it as an option, but yeah, I'm missing it. But this screen honestly looks really, really nice, quality is superb. But yeah, there's a lot of going on in this thing, a lot of physical buttons have been removed. So for example, all the temperature-wise, you need to do it on the screen. So this is quite limited. This is limited to just the transmission part, the start-stop button, which is really nice because it looks like a key that you need to turn still. So that's a small detail that I like. And you have the button for the experience modes, which are, yeah, a new feature. It looks really cool. So you can go through different settings. For example, the core, which the car always starts in, then you have the green, so that's more about driving. But then you also have a few cool things that are just like gimmicks, but they look really nice. So for example, if I go to personal, vivid, timeless, name them, there's a lot of them, but for example, this one I really like, the timeless one. Little sound to tell you that you're in a different kind of a driving experience, but it looks really cool. So stuff like this, honestly, I really like it. So that part of Mini is very, very, very cool. All right, I'll put it back. But yeah, you have plenty. It's really, really funky. Sporty one too, go-kart, very important. Woohoo! It's screaming, it's happy. And then we got a little bit more about the power and the G-force and things like that. And that's a cool thing with this little Mini Aceman SE, because it still drives like a Mini. This is all too much, but these gimmicks are really funky. They're really funky, and it still drives like a go-kart. The chassis feels really nice. It's something that Mini continues to really get it spot on. The driving is, honestly, it's too hard, because I don't know how they managed to do it, but the suspension is super hard. Even on the highway sometimes, like, just bouncing around, I'm like, what the hell is going on? I'm sitting on winter tires, so very small wheels, and still sometimes it's just bouncing around on the road. I don't understand why some cars are this sporty setup somehow. I don't get it. But about the steering and the chassis on this one is really incredible. It feels nimble, it feels small, but it's kind of a big car. You have a relatively big trunk. There's place for 2+1 small people. But in general, this feels like a large wide space. There's plenty of room. I really like that. But yeah, you still have the go-kart feeling when you floor it a bit. It's very nice. I always drive in the brake setting, because in the D, it sometimes, it looks with the cameras and the sensors and stuff, but it's difficult to anticipate on what the car is doing. Is it going to brake harder? Is it not going to brake? Is it going to brake a little later? It's difficult to learn the system, so not easy. Whereas in the braking mode, it's always the same. You just know how the car is gonna brake. And to avoid that your passengers will get sick, I rather drive in the brake mode, because it just chiller, and you are very, very at ease to drive with one pedal. Let me see, corner. Yeah, it's it's still very, very fun to drive. So it really has that mini go-kart feeling, and that's honestly one of the biggest things that you just want when buying a Mini, that it drives and it feels like a go-kart. And at that point, Mini still knows how to do it. I'm still missing the Clubman, because the looks of that thing was, I think the only production car with 6 doors that you could buy, because the typical doors on the rear, it looked really, really cool. That's something that I'm really gonna miss. I'm pretty curious what the values of these cars will do, because it was really something cool. But yeah, Mini gave us the Aceman. It's a really fun car. It doesn't look as good as the Clubman. It doesn't drive as well as the Clubman, but in general, it's still a Mini, and that's exactly what you want when driving a Mini. That it's just fun. That it just gives you still that little smile on your face when driving it, so quite important. So yeah, I suggest configure your very own Aceman. I'm curious to see what kind of troubles or difficulties you will get when doing that, because it's very complicated with, as I told you, with these new setup of how they want you to buy a car. But I'm still glad they drive like a Mini. I'm still happy it's a fun car to just spend some time in. So yeah, thank you guys very much for watching this AutoNext review. Of course, many, many, many more will follow. So make sure to subscribe everywhere you can, and I'm already looking forward to the next one. Take care, bye-bye, cheers.